Welcome to today's chatting session. I think you don't love me anymore. You always forget me. Yeah, you have a very forgettable face, bro. I bet your parents forgot about you too. Today is June 8th, 2029. So let's get into this shit then, boy. Let's see. Starting off with Monday. So we had news practically all freaking week, which was pretty annoying. A lot of 10 a.m. days. And, you know, when we have 10 a.m. news, we don't trade till 10 a.m. Also, question. Does anyone know how to get rid of this replay fucking thing? How do I get rid of the replay? Or is that like, did they decide to just watermark the whole screen now? Settings. Okay, guys, that's a good start. Now where'd I go? Settings isn't gonna help. Okay. Canvas, right? Watermark. I knew it was a bitch ass watermark. Man, turn that bitch all the way down now. I don't want to see that bitch. Yeah. Anyways, so obviously Monday we had 10 a.m. news. We wait till 10 a.m. to really, I guess, go about anything. But bias wise, we were looking super bullish overall. We were just displacing above London highs. We were displacing above Asia highs. And we had this unfilled 4-hour up here. Obviously, it shows it already wicked into it. But at the time of like 9:30, we had not wicked into this 4-hour yet. So this was like a very good draw to have, right? We always use unfilled gaps, whether it's on the lower time frame or the higher time frame, as a potential draw on liquidity. And of course, like as our target if we're using MEC model. But right, all these concepts that we teach, you can apply them to all time frames. So if you need help determining a bias, apply a little bit of MEC model knowledge towards your bias, right? MEC model, you target unfilled gaps. What does a higher time frame want? Probably unfilled gaps too. So we had this unfilled 4-hour. Unfortunately, 9:30 opened up and immediately ripped up to this unfilled 4-hour. And, you know, we were hoping we could maybe save that for 10 a.m. But, you know, we didn't get that. And then I saw some people take like 1 minute shorts or some bullshit around here towards, you know, unfilled 5-minute, whatever. Personally, I don't trade. So before I don't trade, period, bro. I actually quit trading completely. I don't trade before news. So obviously I didn't take this, but would have been a great setup if it wasn't for news. And granted, it played out. And we ended up taking the sell side. We came down all the way here. We respected this 15-minute, which was right. We dropped all the way down to here, swept these 15-minute intermediate lows, even held this 15-minute bullish for value gap. And after running most of SLR, there was this MEC model opportunity here. Also being Monday, I believe we were forward testing this day because we didn't end up taking this, but I could have sworn Blake had it marked out. Sorry. And so the trade here, I think the highest time frame, what was it? Okay, yeah, it was a 1 minute. So personally, I always tell people if you have to zoom in to see if it inversed, I wouldn't take that inversion in itself. So this candle obviously inversed a 1 minute, but it does look like a bit of a weak close. So with something like this, I mean, if you have super high conviction for the drawn liquidity, yeah, you can just run with this like inversion of this candle. But I would wait for maybe like a stronger close here, and then I would just probably use this newly created internal low as my stop loss. But overall, this trade looked good. We had two unfilled 5 minutes above. Those were the highest time frame for value gaps, right? The 15-minute chart didn't have anything. So this was a good MEC because after hitting the unfilled 4-hour, what happens? We delivered lower, swept this sell side, rejected, ended up holding this 15-minute fair value gap. We had this 1 minute to the upside, and then this played out towards unfilled 5-minute, TP1, TP2, however you played this. I don't know if anyone took this. I usually don't trade Mondays. No, to be honest, I'll trade Mondays if they're good. I can't remember if I traded this, though, dead ass. I can't even remember. But did anyone take this? This was Monday. Drop the chart colors. I got you after. Does the mic sound fine or is it going in and out? Do you record the charting sessions? Yeah, I'm recording right now. Sounds good. Sounds fine. All right, but so yeah, someone said equal lows. Equal lows where? Are you saying these equal lows? That wouldn't matter because it's after the inversion. You're already in the trade, and it's not really near your stop loss, so this wouldn't mean too much. But yeah, was that what you're referring to? Yeah, it doesn't matter. And to be honest, I don't use equal lows or equal highs anymore if they're like back-to-back 1-minute candles. I just find that to be really inconsistent as a draw on liquidity. I only care if it's two swings, like two separate swings, right? So let's say we had equal lows like here and here, like this candle came all the way down to here and made an equal low with this previous swing low. In that case, that's something I would be like way more conscious of and wouldn't want to trade against it. But when they're back-to-back handles, it's not that serious. Anyways, Monday didn't have too much to offer. I believe we skipped out on this long, and then we were looking for potential shorts. We had this LR generated here. I can't remember too much how we played Monday. And there was like a 5-minute to unfilled 5-minute. Yeah, I believe that's actually what we took. I think we took this on Monday for sure. And so price traded down towards the 5-minute, tapped it by 1 wick, practically immediate break even. I mean, unfortunate scenario. But nothing we can do about that. So obviously, as you guys know, I always talk about 5 and 15-minute fair value gaps as a condition. So after we inverse that first 5-minute and we were in for shorts, this next 5-minute is, well, for one, our first draw on liquidity, but we would need to wait for at least a 1-to-1 if we were going to TP since it was so close. But 5 minutes serve as a condition. So we know that if this 5 minutes ends up getting respected and price starts inversing towards the upside, draw on liquidity is most likely going to continue higher. But if we would have inversed that 5-minute, then we would have definitely been locked in for price to sell off. And that's why those 5 and 15-minute conditions are such a great thing to understand because it helps you with your draw on liquidity. Anyways, 5-minute gets respected by a literal tick. And price continues delivering higher. Pretty choppy. I mean, genuinely just one of the most atrocious weeks I've ever seen in my life. But yeah, not too much to say about Monday. I don't want to get too hung up on Monday. Let's go on to Tuesday. And I won't be going over PM session. So don't ask me about PM. Anyways, Tuesday, I believe. Oh yeah, Tuesday. This day drove me fucking crazy. Okay. Tuesday, once again, we had 10 a.m. news, right? So just going into the morning, you always do like a surface level analysis. Like, how is price overall trending? That's like just very basic, like, analysis you need to do. Is it bullish or bearish right now? We're blatantly bullish. We're displacing above London. We're displacing above Asia. As far as targets go, we had previous week high like as a really nice target, right? So previously we were trading down here during Monday and we wanted this unfilled 4-hour as a draw. That 4-hour got hit, got ran, whatever. We trade towards this next 4-hour. If we look at current price action, price was continuing bullish. So we were looking for potential maybe previous week highs, which wasn't that far, but it was pretty far. That's just an external draw on liquidity. So it's obviously not going to be your TP1, but it's just your overall narrative for price. So you know that price is most likely trending higher here because previous week high looks like the next draw on liquidity. And overall, we're just disrespecting bearish PD arrays and respecting bullish PD arrays. So genuinely just pretty bullish going into this morning. However, obviously you'll see in a second here. We had, this was what, Tuesday. We also had 10 a.m. news today. So there was like a little short, I guess, right here, which wasn't awful, but stop loss placement is atrocious and just way too weird of a leg to be taking this short for like a mech to unfilled 5. And then news dropped and really not much happened. We had this small pullback and I wanted to see longs. We were looking for longs here, but the one thing that bothered me is that if we look at ES here, ES had traded really nice and came down all the way towards the sell side, which is like the 927. So if Wait, 927. Where the fuck is this? 927. Anyways, well, we had an SMT with this low. So ES went down and swept this sell side completely. So overall, we did have the confirmation the price wanted to keep going higher. I just didn't like that NQ edged the 5 minute like that, right? Because I wanted to see price pull down into this 5 minute, and then I would take a long. I swear, if it wasn't for these equal lows getting made at the edge of the 5 minute, I would have probably taken this long. Obviously, that's just hindsight speaking. The SMT looked good. These equal lows, man, were throwing me the fuck off. And I don't know, it just seemed like such a weird trade. It felt really awkward. This inversion felt super premium too, right? Like I'm taking an inversion up here with like what my stop loss may be at this OB, internal highs here, but like it just felt wrong. Like there's always a question that runs through my head before I go into any trade, and it's like, if I lost this trade, would I be mad at myself, right? And so I knew that like if I got stopped out of this trade because price wanted to resweep or like sweep those equal lows and hit the 5 minute, and my impatience just wanted me to take this trade despite the equal lows and the 5 minute not getting hit on NQ, I would have been so fucking annoyed if I got stopped out. So I was like, I'm just gonna watch and see how this trade plays out, and maybe if I get an opportunity later, I'll get one. But this just seems super mid to me with those equal lows. Anyways, price action is fucking horrible. Chopped up for about 25 minutes and then continued higher and eventually ran towards that previous week drawn liquidity. There's like a shit ass super premium long here. Your entry would have just been absolutely scuffed because the candle closed here. So literally just awful. Tuesday was awful. I'm going to move on to the next day. I'll answer questions at the end of this. I feel like when I answer questions during the charting, it just kills the flow. So that was Tuesday. Then we also had Wednesday. So Wednesday was that really long trade. So let's go over Wednesday. Wednesday we took a long, an inversion of the 5 minutes. So Wednesday, I don't know if we had also 10 a.m. news on Wednesday. Shit. Wednesday, 10 a.m. Thursday. Okay. Damn, there's 10 a.m. news for 3 days in a row. So, yeah, that explains why we weren't trading it before. But, yeah, we waited for news to drop. 10 a.m., well, news and 10 a.m. ended up selling off, came all the way down towards the sell side, reswept those lows that had the low that had swept Asia and London. I believe there might have been like an unfilled 4 hour below. Yeah, so there was like an unfilled 4 hour below here, but let me see if ES had ran that. Let's see. No. So I think that was something we were skeptical about, now that I remember. So there was like that unfilled 4 hour below, but you know, this displacement after this sweep of this low, which we presume to be protected because that swept Asia and London, although it didn't trade into any key levels, which, you know, also makes sense why it went ahead and got reswept. But we got good displacement off of that sweep. And then there was a 5 minute inversion to the upside, stop loss placement at the 5 minute OB. So around here, right, your OB is going to be that last down closing candle. And then target all the way up here. And so I got in the trade around here. I got like a nice pullback from this. And I mean, pretty much this trade, like most people entered around here, came down into drawdown for a bit, consolidated for, I don't know, about 20 minutes, then ended up displacing higher. Luckily, because of my entry, I was over a 101 already around this area, but most people needed this high to get taken completely for a 101. And so we ended up edging the top of that high right there, which is making no sense to me. I don't see why we're consolidating around this level. and I just ended up claiming my profits for about like a $12,000 day, or 13,000. Um, and we just never ended up. Well, we did, but later. Um, and yeah, I mean, to be honest, the reason I did that, it wasn't like an emotional thing. It was just completely based off the fact that the whole week had been atrocious with price action, and I couldn't even reason why price would be consolidating at that level. I genuinely couldn't reason it. And I was at about a 1.5, like 1 to 1.5 RR, and I was like, you know what, bro, I'm just gonna claim my profits here. I just don't understand why we would have to consolidate there. There's like ES was like honestly like rejecting this high too, and it just was taking way too long. I mean, overall the trade lasted about, I mean, from when I closed my position, I had already been in it for nearly an hour. That's not normal. Usually my average trade time is about, I'd say, 12 minutes, maybe. I should, my camera is out of focus. So, yeah, I didn't want to be in that any longer, and I got out of that. And then I don't even know what the fuck happened with this trade, to be honest, with the rest of the day. Wow, I need to see what the 5-minute chart looks like. Yeah, that's fucking atrocious. Did that high ever even get hit? Bro, that's crazy, the lack of volatility. I guess, and then we ended up running it. So, I mean, unless you never went break even, I guess your trade would have hit after, 4 hours. So that was a bit intense. And yeah, I mean, genuinely one of the fucking hardest watches of my life, trying to wait for that trade to hit. Yeah, some TJR ass timing, bro. I'll get to these questions later after the recap. Yeah, I'll post this today. How is my mic ass? I don't get it. Is it? I feel like it's just like, I don't know. Maybe hello, 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 hello. Why do people say that fair value gaps don't matter and they can't move the market? Who the fuck says that? And I mean, obviously every single concept, like, take it with a grain of salt. Like, you're not just gonna say, you're not gonna just like see a fair value gap and it gets hit and you're like, yep, that's getting respected. Like, this is gonna move the fucking market. But you pair it with other confluences. That's everything Blake and I try to teach you. It's to not run with one concept and use it as like a pattern. Like, you have to be able to pair, concepts with other concepts. Fair value gaps with liquidity. That's the strongest pair of confluences on fucking earth, bro. A fair value gap with liquidity resting inside of it, like a low or a high that's resting inside a fair value gap that gets swept. Those are the ones that initiate huge reactions. When you're in bearish or bullish order flow, naturally, and this is simply undebatable, right? What's it gonna look like? And you can go over every single day in fucking history. If price is trending downwards, it's retracing up into fair value gaps and then continuing lower, right? So it's using those fair value gaps as support to push it lower. Of course, these concepts are sort of rebranded after another thing, right? Like, obviously, like, ICT isn't completely original. So what we like consider a fair value gap, to someone else who trades a different strategy, could have a totally different name. So, and it look, a little bit different, like slight discrepancies, but obviously, like, the reality is that if price is trending downwards, it needs to retrace to correct imbalances in price to continue in that direction. So that being said, as for us, since we use ICT, those imbalances are fair value gaps. So when we see price retrace into fair value gaps and then continue in the direction that it's been going, we know that those fair value gaps are being used to support price towards a certain draw on liquidity. And then vice versa, of course. So, bro, obviously there's going to be people who don't trade the same fucking way, don't use the same concepts, don't think that they work or whatever. And at the end of the day, not a single one of these concepts is going to be what moves the market. But, I mean, I definitely do think liquidity and fair value gaps is a great way to understand how the market moves and, you know, things that do support the way the market moves. But, yeah, bro, I don't know. Like, the concepts fucking work. If someone tries to tell you otherwise, like, who cares? It's not that serious. You don't have to prove shit to anyone. Like, they've been proven to work. You've seen people make hundreds of thousands of dollars, millions of fucking dollars. You know, if it works, it fucking works. People are always going to question everything. Anyways, on to Thursday. Thursday. Oh, Thursday was just eyeball ripping. I'm not going to go over Thursday. So going into the morning, we had this fuckery. London lows gets, well, seek and destroy, right? What happens? London sweeps Asia lows. After Asia lows get swept, it goes ahead and runs Asia highs. Then what happens? London lows get swept. Then what happens? London highs get swept. All right? So all that fucking buffoonery is happening. Previous week highs already swept. All this fuck shit, and it's just naturally the worst fucking price action you'll ever see in your life. So not much to say about this. We actually had no pullbacks into 5 minutes that presented an opportunity for an entry. So I really am not going to waste my time going over a day like this, because this should hands down be a no trading day. If all my objectives are just getting taken like that off rip, right? I'm someone who uses London highs, London lows, previous day high, previous day low, all those things as like my overall narrative for price. If those have been not liquidated yet, if those have been just resting without being taken, then I love to have London highs or London lows as a potential draw on liquidity, previous day high, previous day low, etc. And if I'm going into my trading session in the morning and all these targets that I normally use have been ran, what am I going to do? I'm going to fucking sit on my hands. So yeah, I know it's boring to watch me or Blake not fucking trade. Trust me, we want to trade. Like, we worked our asses off to learn this fucking skill. We want to be able to use it. And I was actually just making like a video about this. But it's like, dude, it's draining, like sitting down every single day, you know, for an hour and a half and not finding shit. Because like you're just staring at 1 minute candles like a schizophrenic looking for your setup, and you're not getting anything. And there's nothing you can do about it. Like, trust me, if your psych is pretty down, my psych's pretty down, Blake's psych is pretty down. Like, everyone's bored during times like this. It's slow. And, you know, Blake and I make a lot of fucking money from trading. And unfortunately, we haven't been able to make a lot of fucking money from trading in the last 2 weeks because things have been so fucking slow. So we're all in this shit together. But the most important thing is that you don't act on poor psychology. You don't act on your emotions, and you preserve capital. So then when the good price action comes around, you capitalize. And that's why Blake and I have never tripped, like just tweaked over shit PA, because as long as we're not acting on our emotions and trying to get greedy and forcing trades on the day and just throwing away money and handing money to the fucking markets, then we don't care, because we know that it only takes 1 week out of the month or 2 weeks out of the month to make so much fucking money and be chilling, right? Obviously, though, when we come off those hot streaks like we did earlier in April, or January, March, April, May, where we fucking won, 12 trades in a row, whatever the fuck it was, and we were making a shitload of money, and then we have to deal with some bullshit like this. It's like, it's annoying, dude, but you don't want to hand back those profits that you had made on those good weeks. So it's really just knowing when to sit down and when not to sit out, and I'll go more in depth with that whole price action thing, as I promised you guys last time. So I'll talk about that today, just knowing when to sit out of trades and such. And then finally, Friday. So I wasn't here for Friday. I was with some family. My brother's last day before he left to London. He's doing like some world tour bullshit, not world tours, like just with some DJs, because they made a song and they like released it, all this shit. So Friday, I did look over the price action. It looked fucking horrible. And I believe Friday we had NFP. Yep, NFP at 8:30. So we had that absolute Drake candle up here. Data highs got swept. Data lows gets left behind. But going into the morning, let's see, 9:30 here. Seems like there's no opportunities here. You have this resweep of this high, maybe like potential short towards down here, but no opportunities to present themselves. No inversions, just straight chop since 9:30. Then eventually we deliver higher, all the way up to here. And I did see this, which I was wondering if anyone was taken. Was it? It just looks super premium. Yeah, it just looks way too premium. But let's see. I need a better narrative for price here going into Monday. All right, so we have this buy side up here. Unfilled hourly down here. Okay, so that seems like the range, the potential draw on liquidities. So let's see. If I were going into Monday, I didn't get to trade this day, but this looks pretty fucking premiumed. So I'd see why someone wouldn't take this, to be honest. You do have the pullback into the 5-minute. 5-minute gets respected up around here. So at this candle, you're still respecting the 5-minute. There's like a 1-minute inversion towards the upside. Then again, you know, we haven't swept any liquidity yet, and we still have data lows below. All this shit, not really the best structure to be longing. Does feel a bit early. Did Blake take this? I don't know what you guys traded Friday. I'll get into that after this. The condition, the choppiness and shit. Blake took after the low. He announced it at least. Oh, okay. So he forward tested this. Makes sense. Damn, Blake's a disciplined ass motherfucker. Yeah. So this trade just looks way too premium, to be honest. I can see why this doesn't play out. And then I don't know where this chop is coming from post NFP. Like that must be fucking annoying. And then I see that we finally break out of this range. This seems like fucking stereotypical PDI model right here you're setting up. You have some LR being generated. It's about 10:30. Do we have a pullback into a 5-minute? Wow, sweep of this intermediate low inside the 5-minute. That looks clean. Still left that unfilled hourly below, which is a bit sus. Super random equal low here. I mean, I wouldn't pay too much attention to that. It's not even like a swing. It's like a random fucking... it's like this baby ass candle right here. But this looks like a A plus fucking. I mean, I would say it's A plus if we drop down towards the hourly. This is like a 3-minute inversion towards the upside. Beautiful close on this. This is what I'm saying. Like fair value gap liquidity, right? What do we have? A low resting inside of 5-minute fair value gap. We call those intermediate lows. You have the 5-minute fair value gap right there. You have this low sitting inside of that. What happens once that gets swept? Immediate displacement. Oh, it seems like there actually was a 5-minute inversion you had to wait for. Okay. That's a bit annoying. So, trade maybe something like this. Depends where your stop loss is. Well, you're still getting a 1-to-1 no matter what. So depends how you want to put your stop loss. You can maybe utilize, yeah, I'd probably do it like around here. Body closure looks good. Obviously with a PDI, you're expecting all of accumulation zone highs to get ran. So you would literally not TP until this entire range gets ran through. So your TP1 would be up here, right? At the end of this liquidity pool. So you have that 5-minute inversion. And I honestly haven't even seen if this shit played out. Okay, so it did. Cool. So this looks like a pretty solid fucking trade. Didn't Blake take a trade on Friday? And he got break even? How did he get break even? Look at the candle that hit TP. Are you saying because he broke even? Did he like break even after like this new internal high got made or some shit? He's not a PDI Padawan, is he? He doesn't have the PDI, the PDI fucking absolute conviction. He didn't enter the 5 minute. What do you enter off of? 1 minute. 1 minute inverse. Holy smokes. This Ninja Blake needs to get off the charts, bro. So he took the 5 minute pullback right here. He took the 5 minute pullback with the 1 minute fucking Jit Latugan inversion there. Are you guys capping on my name? Don't tell me he took that. That's what he took? So he took that, but he didn't take the 5 minute. I'm scared he's going to say a bad word when he answers.
Your call has been...
He's at a little kid's birthday party. Fucking weirdo.
You go to my little cousin's birthday party.
All right, so yeah, I mean, if you took that super zesty Pride Month 1 minute, I'm going to have no opinion on that. I would never take that shit. Obviously, like, Blake knows exactly what he's doing, though. I would just have had full conviction in my PDI. Like, this is obviously my model, so I would have trusted this shit with my heart and been in either at that 5 minute or at that 3 minute. Looking like a micro, like 1 con or 1 mini, or like, I'd say probably like 8 micros ideal here. So yeah, there's a lot of good entries actually here. This was definitely a good day. So yeah, I mean, I hope a lot of you caught this. Something along like this area. I wouldn't even be surprised if you took like the 3 minute, for example. The close looked amazing. So really any trade, any long around here, I hope some of you were able to capitalize off that. The equal lows into hourly? Yeah, makes sense. I don't blame you for that. Yeah. Sorry, I gave away the alpha ones. It said my funded futures obviously has had some problems recently, so they're stalling a bit. But I'll remind them today. Hopefully everything's good with their system. I know they had like some hackers or some bullshit. But I'll let them know and try to get that to you ASAP. Just because I had a great close, should I have waited for the minute? I did take the 3 minute just because I had a great close. Should I have waited for the 5 minute? It depends how strong your conviction is. Obviously, dude, like, it will never hurt you to take the highest time frame inversion because that's the safest bet every single time. But if all confluences are there, then there's a bit of wiggle room. But to be honest, I probably would have also waited for the 5 minute. Like, honestly, looking back at it, I would have waited for the 5 minute just because it would have started, like, not only was it like an entry opportunity, but also like a condition. And I feel like if we were going to go towards this unfilled hourly or maybe take those equal lows, we would have held the 5 minute. So I probably would have waited for the 5 minute, to be honest. But if you took the 3 minute, it's chill. It's based off conviction. I think the PDI is such like an obvious model that, you know, bro, it's like, I don't know. That shit is just works too much. So yeah, different ways to go about it. So that's all the days of the week. But yeah, I mean, now really I'll answer a couple questions and shit, and then I was gonna get into just some psych stuff, some shit related to identifying market conditions. Ollie bud, how many times you gonna motherfucking cry emote? What? Got 1 pass and 2 evals on the go. Any further advice? What I'm gonna say, brother? It sounds like you passed 1. I don't see why you wouldn't be able to do it with the other 2. The second you got all 3 locked in, copy trade them. I think you're big vibe and you're on the right track. Just keep it up. Do you go to break even after the first internal high or low? Yeah, with every model except the PDI. There was a 5 minute equal lows at the stop. Would you not take the trade because of them? No, just because I wouldn't be bothered by like equal lows like this, right? It's like I said, unless they're two separate swings, then obviously that's a different story. So like if the equal lows would have been here, right, with this swing low, right, low, high, low, and then we had this low come down to here, I'm not gonna fucking take that. Um, but it seems like it's just random equal lows at the random fucking candle. Like, yeah, it seems irrelevant to be honest. So yeah, I wouldn't hyperfixate on equal lows and equal highs unless it's at a significant liquidity pool. Yeah, so that's what I was just getting to. Like, only focus on equal highs and equal lows if they're at a drawn liquidity or like a strong liquidity pool. Like any major sell side or major buy side. I am recording this. Let's fucking hope it's recording. Best geek bar flavor, the trash can. If fair value gaps gets traded into and we wick through it but close inside and the next candle respects it, is it considered inverse? If a fair value gap's traded into and we wick through it but close inside and the next candle respects it, is it considered inversed? What? If a fair value gap gets traded into and we wick through it but close inside and the next candle respects it, brother, I have no idea what the fuck you just said. There's only two scenarios on this planet. If you have a fair value gap, this is your fair value gap. It doesn't matter how many fucking times you trade inside of it. If the body never closes below here, and then continues in this direction, it always got respected. If at some point a candle's body closes past the fair value gap, it is disrespected. It is inversed. Those are the only two scenarios. And that's all determined by the body, the way the body closes of the candles. So it doesn't matter if you wick inside of it. It doesn't matter if you close inside of it. The only thing that matters is, did the fair value gap have a candle close past it with like the body, or did it not, right? That's the only thing that's going to tell you whether it got respected or inversed. What's your pre-trade morning routine? I like to just hop in the shower before. Just like a quick fucking clean my energy. And then I'll stare into the sun till my eyes literally water. Not even capping. And then I do like a bump of Coke. No, I won't, Pavi. How many accounts you copy trade? Is it best to trade all at once or switch between a set of two, for example? I like to just copy trade them all. So I copy trade 15. But there are, yeah, I mean, there's been times where I kind of play around with like the grouping of my accounts. Like, if, I don't know. Sometimes, like, if I have accounts that are pending payouts, for example, and others aren't, I won't add those to my copy trade like for the day, and like I'll just let them keep them bench warming. Yes, it'll be uploaded. Georgie B21. Can you review trading days for this week? Are you fucking serious, bro? Do you want to get banned? What was a thing that clicked for you to be profitable? So I wouldn't say there's one specific thing. I think becoming profitable is like, the process really goes like, you start off, you're learning, and then you start seeing a bit of success with the knowledge you have, and you think you figured it all out, so your ego gets super inflated, and you just are overly confident, and then you get absolutely humbled by the markets, and then the real learning curve starts. And that's once you have all the technical tools, and you've now need to figure out how to piece them together in a way that they operate consistently and effectively. So you understand all the concepts, but it's more so about like how to put them together so they actually work, and creating the system. And so obviously you can create your technical system, which is your strategy, but then it's about building the mental system. And I think that's guaranteed the hardest part of fucking trading, because really anyone can learn the concepts, but not a lot of people have the determination to get their psyche in check, and not a lot of people can handle genuinely just being a trader. It is so mentally taxing. It is a lot. It is completely dependent on you. Unlike a lot of things in life where you have a team where, even if you're slacking off one day, you have someone to fall back on. Trading is unfortunately one of those things that completely depend on your level of discipline. And, if you want to trade one day half asleep, or you're upset about a fucking breakup, and you say, oh, well, I want to feel something, so I'm going to trade today and try to make a lot of money to make myself feel better. Well, those are all things that will punish you, and those are all habits that, granted, never get rewarded when it comes down to trading. And if you get lucky and make money on a day where you decided to break your rules, I promise you that money will get handed right back to the markets. So yeah, bro, it's not easy. It's like, I don't blame people for not wanting to learn how to trade. I don't tell anyone they're a fucking idiot for giving up or quitting trading. It's not fucking easy. And it takes a lot of time, bro. It takes a lot of mental energy to understand yourself, and that's really all it is. It's like, to be a good trader, you need to be a good human. I've been telling my Discord this since I fucking opened this shit. You need to have good routine off the charts. Build discipline by doing things on not trading related. Now, I was talking about the Stairmaster recently. When I started doing the Stairmaster, like in 2024, like the first time I did it, I was like, all right, I'm gonna do like 10 minutes. I thought that was gonna be light work, and I like was dying. But I was like, no, I need to hit the 10 minutes, like at least 10 minutes. And, slowly but surely, like the 10 minutes would become easier to go through those 10 minutes on the Stairmaster. And then I would up it to 15 minutes. And then, like, I'd be fucking dying at like the 13th minute. But I said, no, I told myself 15 minutes. I have to make it to 15 minutes. And I'll make it to 50 minutes and then up it to 20 minutes. And it's shit like that where obviously it's not trading related, but it helps you build discipline, because if you set like a rule for yourself, like, I will hit 20 minutes on this, or I won't take a trade unless I see my setup, and you can build that level of discipline off the charts, it directly translates to trading, because at the end of the day, the markets are just going to be a reflection of your weakest habits. So if you have any openings in your psyche, any weak spots, like, they will be targeted. That's the reality. So build discipline, bro, by doing other things that you're not normally comfortable with. If you don't fucking wake up in the morning and make your bed, if you don't get 4 meals in a day, or you don't hit the gym consistently, like, those things are going to take a toll on your mental health and inevitably impact your trading. So you need to learn to build good routine, and then you will be a good trader. But yeah. So like I said, not one thing that really that clicked. Kind of just was so sick of breaking my rules at one point, bro. And then I said, you can't half-ass it. Let's say you start the day with a 1 to 1.5 to 2 win. Even if it's another setup presents itself and it's literally like A++, would you still not trade? Or would you just do it with way lower risk since you won already? Bro, if I took a banger trade like that, like a nice 1 and 2, I'm chilling, bro. I'll call it a fucking day. Like, even if there's another A++ setup, like, I'd rather just claim my profits and go on with the rest of my day. Because, if you take that first win, your first trade of the day, and it's a win, you might not realize it, but you are sort of operating off a high. Like, you get a quick high where you're just like, oh my God, like, I'm so fucking good. And even if there's another A+ setup, like, the reality is you are a bit emotional right now. You're excited about the win, and you might be a little bit clouded. So it's better to just claim your profits and get on with the rest of the day. That was like the biggest thing for me, bro. I love doing that. I literally don't care if my first trade of the day hits, dude. I am done, bro. That shit is like getting a grandma's chocolate chip cookie in the morning, bro. I'm done after that. I'm going to the gym, straight to the gym. That's what I use. Like, bro, I've never made a video about that. Like, that post win high that you get from a winning trade, never use it to take another trade. Like, that's the type of highs that you want to ride and, like, do something productive. Like, just go straight to the fucking gym, go on a run. Like, that shit is so fire. That feeling is great. When did you get that feeling that you figured it out and were consistent? I don't think there's, like, a feeling. I think just results speak for themselves. when I was able to pay myself out multiple times in 1 month, I was like, fuck yeah. Like, I got it now. I got that shit down. What are you targeting for your Apex trailing drawdown accounts? Just 1-to-1. Well, I'm just letting the model do its thing, but naturally the model is like 1-to-1 to 1.5. So, yeah, yeah. So I'm not changing anything specifically for those Apex accounts. I'll still take profits. I will on all my other accounts. But if it is one of those trades where it's like a 1-to-3, 1-to-4, I might close the Apex ones earlier. I haven't ran into that situation quite yet, so yeah. Do you build a buffer for accounts separately, or do you copy trade it while building the buffer? No, I copy trade and build the buffer collectively. How did it take you to start scaling to multiple? How long did it take you for you to start scaling to multiple fundeds? I think after my first payout, I just bought more accounts and went from there. So I went from like 1 account to 3 accounts. I was using 3 accounts for a minute, for a couple months until like I felt good about it. Then I went on to like 5 accounts, 6 accounts. Around that range, I was like struggling a bit with like 5, 6 accounts. And then I kind of got it down. And now I'm like low-key taking a pretty big leap because I've never traded more than like 8 accounts. And I just went from like, I was trading like 5, 4 months ago. And now I'm now all the way at 15. So, I mean, I'm not changing anything of the way I'm trading, to be honest. I could care less how many accounts I have at this point. But yeah, I think just like slow and steady, get comfortable with a certain amount of accounts and then scale it up from there. Just make sure that you can keep paying yourself out. So like, I didn't switch to 3 accounts until I was able to pay myself out consistently on 1 account. Cool. I did that. Then I went to 3 accounts. Could I pay myself out consistently on 3 accounts without my psychology being impacted? Yes. Cool. Upped it. But yeah, do you full pour your evals to pass? Sometimes, honestly, not as much anymore. Just but mainly recently because a lot of the evals I've been buying are 50% consistency. So right now I don't have any top steps, so I need to get some top steps. Those obviously I can't full port. Those are 50%. And so those I just take. I'll go like 2% risk and pass it in 2 trades usually. But other platforms, if they let full porting, sometimes, I don't know. Nowadays, I much rather just like, well, yeah, full port like an A+ setup. Sure, I actually do that on my evals. I thought you were talking about like news. I don't really do the full porting news thing. I don't really full port news. Never been good at backtesting, but I'm pretty good trading live. How can I get better at backtesting? Yeah, so that's usually like, I mean, that's like the better scenario to be in rather than vice versa, because it just says that like, since you know backtesting isn't real, it's hard for you to like, focus and take it as seriously. But man, I would just try to start with like 1 week, like sit down, treat it like a game of chess, see how well you can perform over like 1 week of data. And just try to slowly get better at it. You got to be a bit patient with backtesting at first. And then, you increase your speed and you build confidence. Fire profile picture, by the way. What I'm feeling is that because I'm still not a successful trader and I've been fighting this dream for over 2 years now, I can't fucking sleep because of how bad I want this. And that fire that I need to be successful hurts my decision making while I trade. That's my biggest and only anchor right now that holds me back. I mean, it's a double-edged sword for sure, bro. And trust me, like nearly everyone goes through that stage. So like, here's what I will tell you. If like you can envision it and like it's something you dream about, like I always tell people this, it's already real. And it sounds stupid, but believe it or not, like most people, you guys are in this Discord, so you're not the average fucking person. But most people, I'm telling you, they can't really envision like a successful version of themselves or something they're passionate about working. Like a lot of people can't do that. And it sounds crazy, but a lot of people can't do that. They kind of just live life like floating around. I'm going to get a job, this and that, like speak very vaguely. But I guarantee that everyone in this Discord sits down every single fucking day and they're like, I want this shit to fucking work, bro. I want my dream car. I want to support my family. I want locational freedom. I want all this shit. And like, if you can even just have those thoughts, you're already so far ahead of the curve of 99% of the population. But you can't let that, you can't let that drive like over fucking take you so much to the point where you can't even focus. Because all those dreams are fucking crazy, but they're crazy for a reason, right? They're not easy to do. And they need, like, it requires you to sit down and genuinely treat every trading day with a lot of respect and not try to get there by taking shortcuts, by being impatient. Um, like you don't just fucking, like the same way you say you have that fire inside of you, like you don't just start a fucking giant fire out of nowhere, bro. Like you start with a couple pieces of fucking wood and then you go adding more and more and more. And that's how trading works, bro. You keep making that fire bigger. That's like your monetary success. It keeps getting bigger and bigger and it grows exponentially. But you have to start small. Did I see something about masturbating or am I tripping? I think I'm tripping. Wait, I could have sworn I saw some shit. When you say you're taking the setup on your accounts and not your live account, what do you mean, just evals? Yeah, like sometimes if like the trading day's just really mid, but there's like a ass setup, I'll just take it on like some evals that I have lingering around. I'm killing it on backtesting, but on live markets, not really like that. Yeah, that's usually the case, but that's all a matter of screen time, so you'll be fine. I've been trading one con. I noticed most of my trades are 1-to-1, so I can be profitable just trading 1-to-1, or should I try to make stop losses smaller, TPs bigger? I mean, the thing is, like, your TPs and your stop losses should each have a narrative. Like, I can't tell you, should you make your stop loss bigger or smaller, or your TP bigger or smaller. Like, that's not the fucking point. It's like you TP where you have to TP. You TP at drawn liquidities. You TP at unfilled gaps. You TP at resting liquidity. At least as long as you have a 1-to-1, you're safe to TP. That's all that matters. But if, like, you're taking a mech model short or long and the unfilled 5 minutes, 1-to-2 away, you don't have to TP at 1-to-1. You'll take the TP at 1-to-2 because that's where your drawn liquidity is. Also, I would switch from trading one con, and I mean, you can trade one con, to be honest. That's what I did for like most of my time. Now I low-key just like trade micros because I can get my risk way more accurate, more accurate. Yeah. Best time to trade Asia session. I don't know, maybe uninstall TradingView and never trade. Don't fucking trade Asia session, bro. I passed my first 50K top set funded accounts. I feel like I don't know when or how to actually build a buffer. Could you go over how to properly build a buffer from a perspective? You just pass them all. Like, at what point do you start risking more? And what are good moments to be collecting payouts? So I would say the way I've always done it is I start off with 0.5% risk, which naturally will be just enough because you're on 50Ks. I believe it's $200+ days. That doesn't mean claim your profits at $200 when you get there, because that's going to throw you off. But right, go into each day trading about risking about $250 per account, and try to get those 5 days in. So that's only going to leave you with about $1,250. I guess you could take like a $500 payout. I would try to get towards $2,000, 2.5, risking $250. Once you're at like $2,500, I'd say, yeah, $2,500. Maybe pay yourself out like $800, $500, $1,000, $500 across each account. You said you have 5, that's $2,500. So pay yourself out that $2,500 just to secure like the money back from all those accounts plus activation fees and shit. Stick with the 250 risk until you're about like a 3K buffer now. So you get to like 2,500, take out a payout, small payout across each account, get back to 3,000. Once you're at 3,000, now you can up your risk a little bit. Maybe go to like 350, 400. But my general consensus is that I always want about 6 to 8 trades of room. Like, in theory, like I want to be able to lose if I lost, a certain amount of times in a row. I would want at least 6 to like 8. To be honest, nowadays I usually give myself like a fucking my 50Ks have like usually a 10 to 15% buffer. But nah, that's a bit of extreme. I usually have like a 10% buffer though. Do you tax evade? No, I actually just fucking pay taxes. That was the most employed shit I've ever done. Wanted to kill myself. Anyways, guys, do you recommend buying the one-time fee accounts or monthly subscription ones initially? It's up to you, bro. That's completely dependent on whatever you're more comfortable with. Yeah, so this is what I want to get into. I'm done answering questions that are unrelated to this. I'm going to give you guys this final lesson and then get off. So let's get into this shit with so I really like to break it down into like two factors when you should trade. There's technical reasons and there's psychological reasons. And believe it or not, they're both just as important. So, technical reasons. The number one time you shouldn't trade is if daily objectives have been met prior to you getting any sort of trade in. So, what does that look like? Oh, fuck. Why can't I fucking space this? I'm going to say a bad word. Don't make me say it. Let's keep it simple. Going into a day, often I use daily profiles to determine my higher time frame drawn liquidities, stuff like that. If my higher time frame drawn liquidities have been taken before I got a trade in, I'm not going to trade. So daily objectives met, those are your higher time frame drawn liquidities. And then some examples would be like London high / low, previous day high / low, previous week high / low. So if you're going into a morning looking for a certain one of these levels to get hit and they've already gotten hit, then it's better to just sit on your hands, because having to flip your drawn liquidity and flip your bias and now rework your whole day after your drawn liquidities have been hit, it's really annoying and typically results in a shittier win rate in a sense, because the way you got to think about it, and these kind of go hand in hand, these daily objectives getting met is usually a result of like an overextended range, and you're just like, already a lot has happened and you're most likely going to consolidate. And we've seen this happen many times. There was one example, bro, from this week, where I said some shit like, previous week high got hit, we're definitely going to just chop here. Whatever. You guys know what I'm talking about. And so also when you have like extreme, let's put it this way. One overextended range is good. We can do this. 2 premiumed. Discounted. 2 premium / discounted. You're obviously not going to take a trade. So if the higher time frame has just been ripping bullish as fuck for 300 points, you're not just going to take a long at like 300 points of straight bullish price action. That's really dumb. And usually results in chop. So a lot of these result in chop. So that's how you identify when you should stay off the market. So overextended range. What was the other one I just had in mind? Overextended range. Daily objectives have been met. I just had another one. Oh. Large overnight moves. So when you have large overnight moves, AM session is horrible. So I'd say Asia / London, 300 plus point moves. Approximately, I can't give you a direct number, but I'd say somewhere around these lines, you'd probably avoid trading. And so these are more higher time frame based, of course, and now lower time frame. My biggest rule is, we can put it this way. 5-minute chart looks choppy. I typically don't trade. Low resistance liquidity generated at my stop loss. Lacking fair value gaps. These are good indicators that price action is bad. So, like I said, technicals, Your daily objectives have been met. You went into the morning wanting to target London highs as a potential draw. That gets hit. So our time for drawing liquidities, London highs, lows, previous highs, lows, previous week highs, lows. Overextended range or too premiumed or discounted. Price had been ripping for 300 points in a certain direction. At that point, you don't want to just fucking try to catch like the end of it. Like, it's just stupid. Large overnight moves. Asia London 300 plus point moves. And then these are lower time frame ones. 5-minute chart looks choppy. LR generated at my stop loss. Locking for value gaps. Those are like the simple ones. Very simple. Psychological. Times you don't want to come. Oh, technical, I guess. Where do I want to add this? Whatever. Psychological. And I'm not even kidding. These are all things I like. These are times I completely avoid trading. And this is going to sound like super stupid. Lack of sleep. I'm not trading. If I don't get, 6 hours at least of sleep, I'm not trading. Emotional about personal things in life. Not kidding. I won't trade. If I'm going through like some shit with like a girl or whatever, or family related stuff, I try to avoid trading. No matter even if you try to like close it off and pretend like you're a fucking robot, like you are human. If you have shit going on in your life and it's like impacting you, best not to trade. Hit daily loss limit. You're done trading. You're emotional. These are kind of technical too, though. Already took 2 trades. My golden question. What else can I add in here? I mean, these are really the main ones. I think the technicals are obviously more important, though. Psychological, I guess it's up to you to determine. Oh, that's good. It's a good one. So if you're like stuck in like a range, like on the lower time frame where price is doing this, you're like respecting a 5-minute down here, but now you're also trading into like a 5-minute up here, and you don't know which one's gonna break. What do? Obviously, you wait for one of these to get invalidated before you execute anything. So that's just bouncing between P to raise. Super solid, which also reminds me. Well, 5-minute chart looks choppy. That's consolidation. I could have just said consolidation. And this practically covers really all the psych stuff, to be honest. The psych is very self-explanatory. If you psychologically don't feel like you're not level-headed, you shouldn't trade at all. But I'd say you can play around with the psych and write whatever you want in your personal journal or whatever you want. But for technicals, these are what I would mainly focus on. Daily objectives have been met, overextended range, large overnight moves, 5-minute chart looks choppy. These are all lower time frame ones. LR generated at my stop loss, locking for value gaps, bouncing between P to raise. Those are the biggest things. PD raise or any ICT concept. Just assume I'm saying fair value gaps. Yeah, I will. All right, boys. I'm gonna call it here. I have some other shit to do. I need to prepare, bro. I fucking lost my wallet, dog, for the second time in a month, and like this time I actually can't find it. So tomorrow I have to fucking wake up at like 6 a.m. and go to like the DMV, get a new ID. My fucking credit cards are gone. All this bullshit. I know. I just bought 4 AirTags, bro. Like I'm so sick of this shit happening. Yeah, my chart colors. I got you. But yeah, I leave on a flight Tuesday. I'll be there for live trading, because it's later during the day. But I might not be with you guys tomorrow because I have to figure out all my shit, bro, before my flight, credit cards and such. So let's see. These are chart colors. Oh, this one's awful. PDI should just be black, bro. Dead ass. And then I guess you need like the codes. Oh, is that the same one? Yeah. Same one. This is just gray, bro. You can figure out gray. I think that's just it. Then I guess I have like, yeah, that's pretty much it, bro. I really don't even mark shit out nowadays. I'm not even kidding. Right here. Oh, and then my canvas color, of course. Honestly, the most important thing with chart colors is that you have a red crosshair. That's the most important thing. I just need to feel like I'm in a COD game or like a CSGO match. Red crosshair is mandatory. Make sure you have this. That's pretty much it. You can finagle with the rest of it. All right, boy.